I saw this subreddit and I just had to get this story off my chest. So I'd say about a year ago, I was working at a restaurant with this girl and her BF. The three of us were like the best of friends. Everything was cool for a bit until this new guy started working at the restaurant and started causing trouble. Not only was he a terrible worker, I mean like we complained multiple times to the manager about his laziness and awful teamwork, he was incredibly homophobic towards me. Obviously, he didn't last very long. A short time after he got fired, I'd say it was like 3 a.m., the girl calls me. She was pissed. Apparently, someone gave the dude her Snapchat and he actually tried to get her to come over to his house and fuck her. He made fun of her boyfriend, if I remember precisely he called him a fat pig, and even sent her unsolicited nudes. Dude was obviously a few chips short of a cookie. I was pissed, she was pissed, her BF was ready to fully commit a crime. She asked me what we should do, and an evil smile grew on my face. I told her to send me a Snapchat username and leave the rest to me. I took the username and posted it to a gay sexting Snapchat database. I went to gay porn sites and posted the snap in the comments asking for nudes. I even went to a couple of dirty Discord servers and posted it there too. I figured if he wanted to send my friend unsolicited nudes then he should get the same. I came back to work about 2 days later and she said, "I don't know what you did, but he deleted his snap and tried to text me from a new one." I blocked him. I told her and her BF what I did and we all had a good laugh. Anyway, I am not a kids person, don't get me wrong, I don't hate them and even plan to pursue a career as a teacher, but I'm really not up to having them myself. This is also tied with my extreme phobia from pregnancy. My partner is in similar boat. Of course this view can change for both of us, but currently we do not want kids. So, my Mill is lovely woman, we spend a lot of time together whenever I have the chance and spend hours talking. Usually we agree on a lot of major stuff or laugh about our disagreement, but there's one thing we can't agree upon: kids. When the conversation got into that possible future kids, my Mill expressed utter love for grandkids and how she expects all her children, 3, to give her at least one grandchild. I kind of chuckled at that and explained that no, that's probably not happening for me nad my partner. I thought she would nod understanding like she did every time before, but that didn't happen. Instead she said that it's our duty to bring in kids because who would take care of us when we're old, etc. She looked pretty angry for me to even suggest that we might not give her the grandma title, so I kind of directed our conversation to something different thinking it will not get brought up until we're older. At first it was fine, but over time she started making stuff about kids randomly. Like for instance, we were playing football with my partner's brother and she said how we will be great future parents, or when we went shopping she showed a lot of kids' clothing saying how cute it would look on my future kids. The worst one was probably when I got super painful ovulation cramps, yes I suffer a lot, that my parents had to bring me home. When she was tending me she said in a joking manner, "Oh don't worry, it will hurt worse when you are giving birth." At that moment I wanted to scream at her, but my parents stopped me and helped me to not get charged for murder that day. I love her as my future Mill, but these comments are getting pretty annoying and frustrating, especially when I told her that we don't plan to have them. My partner already sat down with her and explained that her comments make us uncomfortable. After that she stopped for a while, but it's starting again and I fear of exploding at her. The thing is, I plan to have sterilization sugary in future. I know it sounds silly to do it for own selfish reasons and not health issues, but my phobia from pregnancy is affecting me very badly from mental aspect and I don't want to risk anything happening. My partner is in peace with my decision, and if I would get refused for the surgery then he's willing to get vasectomy done on him for my own safety of me and my mind. But my partner thinks that we should tell his mother that we are serious about our decision and maybe she will finally stop with the comments. But I don't know, it sounds kind of asshole why and mean to crumble her wishes. I mean it is annoying, the comments are mostly directed at me but still. So Wibda? I am low contact with my parents and no contact with my brother. It has been this way for a while now. My brother is addicted to opioids. He's never had an injury or surgery that would necessitate him taking them, and he's never had a legal prescription. He's been to rehab multiple times and it never helped. In the beginning I tried helping him and I even helped pay for 2 of his stints in rehab. But I got tired of him putting the pills before everything and he was so awful to everyone that it made it hard to be around him. I went no contact with my brother after he stole my car and sold it because he needed money for pills. It was only a few years old and he sold it to a drug dealer for less than 1,001 bottle of pills, and 2, he assaulted a paramedic after she gave him naloxone and saved his life. He would have died from an overdose but she saved him and as thanks to her was giving her a black eye and breaking one of her ribs. I went low contact with my parents after they defended my brother. Now my parents are in financial trouble. My dad can't retire on his timeline probably, and my mom had to get a job for the first time since they got married. They had remortgaged their house more than once to pay for my brother's trips to rehab or his legal bills from his assaulting the paramedic. They spent all their savings too, between using it to pay for rehab and my brother stealing money from them. They are going to lose their house and are struggling financially. When my brother assaulted the paramedic, my parents and I argued, and they said I was projecting because I am a first responder, firefighter, and I was more concerned about a fellow first responder than I was for my brother. I didn't know her before the assault, but I have met her since. We have been low contact since, but now my parents want my help. They either want to permanently move in with me or for me to pay rent on place for them to live. They would not be paying me rent, and they want me to give them money for other things like groceries. I told them there is no chance in hell, and now they are pushing back and trying to guilt me. Besides the fact that they have no one to blame but themselves for this, I don't trust that they wouldn't give my brother money or try to convince me to take him in/look after him too. Besides my parents and brother, the only other family I have is my grandmother. Both of my grandfathers and my other grandma are deceased. She is on the side of my parents, so I've had to go low contact with her too. If she wasn't on a fixed income and an assisted living, I have no doubt she would take them in and help them. My parents are so angry with me right now, but I think they brought this on themselves. I'm 26F, a single mother, who works during the week. I can't take care of my daughter 2F when I'm at work, so to save money, my sister 23F and her husband 24M take care of her while I'm at work. She doesn't work, he only goes into work twice per week, so typically they're both there. I typically don't work on Sundays, but my boss needed, so I dropped her off at their house. After work, I picked her up, and they told me she had a great time at church. I hate religion, and do not her being exposed to that toxicity. Just last week, she referred to them as mommy and daddy. I enrolled her into a daycare, and told them. They were very upset, and told me it was dumb of me to do it. They're asking me to take her out of daycare. Ida for putting my daughter into daycare? Around 2 years ago, my 20FS sister, Jane 30s, and her husband, John 30s, had a baby. Jane had pretty bad PPD, but I don't know the extent of it, as she mostly told our mom and aunt, as they've also had kids. When the baby was around 6-ish months old, John played what Jane described as a cruel prank on her. The baby had a chest infection and she needed to run to the gas station to buy medicine and some snacks. She left the baby in the car and John took the baby out and hid to teach her lesson about leaving the baby in the car unattended. Jane called me in utter hysterics once she got home, as she couldn't get through to our mother. She said she literally thought about running into traffic in that moment, as she couldn't imagine facing John. This was before she knew it was fake. I ended up visiting her later that day, where she had locked herself in the bedroom. Our mom also went over and had a stern talk with John after they had an altercation. This happened a week or so after the initial incident, but that's all I know. Their kid is 2.5 now, and if I'm being totally honest, my view of John has decreased over the years. I was leaning on the positive side before the above incident, but since the baby, he's become insufferable. I had gone to theirs to babysit and John was giving me a general rundown of everything. It was around 4 p.m. when I arrived and John said I could take the baby to the park if it wasn't too windy or raining. They gave me £20 to buy my own food, and John then said, I know the shop is next door, but do not leave the baby alone, even if he's asleep. I don't have it in me to punish the both of you. But seriously, I can't do that to you, you're too sweet, so don't give me a reason. Jane goes stiff and after a second awkwardly laughs as she tries to push John out the door. I know I shouldn't have, but my blood was boiling. He knows how deeply the situation impacted my sister, his wife, and to make a weird joke about it after insisting how scary it was for him to our family and that it was no laughing matter pissed me off. So I said, what? You're gonna give me a crack too? Fuck you, you insufferable asshole. John says, oh, I'll give you more than that. Jane finally pushes John outside and says to me, you are making things worse, shut the fuck up. I called my boyfriend because I was overwhelmed by the situation and he is on my side, but my friends, who I also told, said I caused unnecessary drama and I've just made things worse for my sister. I guess John also Jane and I's mother, because I got a text from saying, did you seriously say that stuff to John? Come on, that's not on. I do regret snapping at him just for my sister's sake. Ida?